Hello, hi everyone. So on the April 17th of the 2020, so that RBI announced the monetary policy review. Along with the monetary policy review, RBI has also announced some of the reforms to revive the Indian economy from the impact of the COVID-19. And this is not only first time; this is the second time RBI announcing the series of the reforms. Already, RBI announced the first reforms on the March 27th of the 2020. That's the reduction of the CRR and relaxation of the marginal standing facility, right? Extension of the Basel norms date. Right? All these are the reforms already announced on the March 27th of the 2020 to revive the economy. Please watch that video already there. So March 27th, that RBI action plan to fight the COVID video already there in our channel. And this is the second video we are making on the, so that is reforms announced by the RBI, right? So this is the right, we are seeing that World Economic Outlook. We are yesterday discussed the World Economic Outlook is every year 2 times published by the International Monetary Fund. So that International Monetary Fund decided that whatever the lockdown we are experiencing from the March to the April until the May end, and this is completely described as a great lockdown. The word used by the International Monetary Fund is a great lockdown. And also very important and question for the examination is that, so that International Monetary Fund is said that the growth of the India and growth of the world should be in the V-shaped growth rate, not U-shaped. So V-shape means last year 2019 and 20, that is a growth rate is completely, you can check here. Last year, that is a 2019-20, that is a economic growth rate of the entire world is a plus 2.9, and the minus 3% for this year, and the next year again it will bounce back to the plus 5.8%. It is V-shape. V-shape means sudden increment. So that is U-shaped means gradual increment. You will be having the always slope, that is right. Slope is less. Here the sudden bounce back. So that is the sudden bounce back is always represented with the what V-shape, but the slow recovery represented with the U-shape. So that is exam purpose very important. So as for the IMF projections, that is the growth rate of the India should be in the U-shape or V-shape. That is IMF is saying that this is only temporary pause, but again whenever the corona impact is completely reduced, automatically all the countries of the world should bounce back with what double the growth rate. So that's why they are projected that plus 5.8% for India. See, last year it was a 4.2%, now it is 1.9%, and again India also bounced back to the 7.4% for the next year. So that's why V-shaped trajectory is projected by the International Monetary Fund, and this was a very important question for the examination. And RBI also confined to the report of the IMF and RBI estimation also. RBI also estimating that India will grow the only 1.9% of the GDP growth rate for this year, and RBI also having the right confidence on the Indian economy that it will bounce back to the 7.4 next year. So that was the right. So Shakti Kanta Das announced in the yesterday. Right, and these are the, so on the April 17th of the 2020, some of the measures announced by the RBI to fight the COVID-19. So this is the second series of the reforms, and watch the first series on the March 27th video. And the second series of the reforms, number 1, targeted long-term repo operations 2.0. Targeted long-term repo operations 2.0. And second one is the reduction of the reverse repo rate from the 4% to the 3.75, and reduction of the liquidity coverage ratio from the 100% to the 80%, and money supply of the 50,000 crores to the NABARD, SIDBI and the National Housing Bank, extension of the resolution time for the 90 days, NPA classification exception 90 days, and hold on the profits distribution. And these are the right reforms, 7 reforms announced by the RBI and to fight the COVID-19. This is second series of the reforms, right? So we will discuss one by what is the long-term repo operations 2.0 and reduction of the reverse repo rate. All this we discuss in the right. Now let us discuss. So targeted long-term repo operations. We are discussing the targeted long-term. Targeted means targeting the specific sector, right? So long term means it here the more in economics generally, if it is more than 1 year, then automatically it is termed as a long term. It is less than 1 year, then it is short term. So long term means more than 1 year. So repo operations. Repo operation means that interest rate. The interest rate is a repo rate. So what is repo rate? Whenever the RBI lending the loans to the banks, bank has to pay the interest rate. Whatever the interest rate paid by the banks to the RBI, that is generally known as the repo rate. Present repo rate is a 4.4% rate. So now these whatever the these targeted long-term repo operations conducted by the RBI will have the interest rate of the 4.4, which is equal to repo rate. That's why we are using it as what repo word here. So targeted long-term. Targeted means targeting specific sector. Long-term means more than 1 year. Repo means interest rate is a 4.4. Operation means doing the buying and selling. That is simple logic. So and we are setting that targeted long-term repo operations 2.0 now. But already it was first time it was already operated on the March 27th. So on the March 27th of the 2020, RBI already issued the 1 lakh crore rupees of the targeted long-term repo operations with maturity period of the 3 years. And the date of the reversal is the 3 years means again in the March 24th of the 2022. What is mean by it? So generally RBI will purchase the what bonds or security papers from the any companies. All are eligible. RBI will purchase the security papers from the common people or any institutions in India, and in turn RBI will provide the money to them. So by submitting their security papers to the RBI, just like how we take the loan from the banks. Generally, normally when we are taking the loan from the bank, we will submit our assurance security papers for the security purpose to the bank. In the same way, so our common public or all India institutions who are all are eligible to participate in the targeted long-term repo operations, and they will get the loan at the rate of the 4.4% of the interest rate for the period more than 1 year. Right, in the March 27th, the RBI is performed a 1 lakh crore rupees bonds are issued by the RBI with an amount of about 1 lakh crore rupees, interest rate of the 4.4%, and that the period of the maturity is about 3 years. That was already over. But yesterday, that is on the April 17th of the 2020, and the RBI also announced the second phase of the targeted long-term repo operation. That's why Shaktikanta thus termed it as about targeted long-term operations 2.0. So that is the amount is a 50,000 crore rupees, and that will be invested in the form of the investment bonds or commercial papers and non-convertible debentures of the non-banking financial companies. So don't bother about these words, just only for the right understanding we are written, but exam purpose not needed. So they are 50,000 crore rupees of the money is mobilizing in the form of the investment bonds, commercial papers, non-convertible bonds. And this is a 50,000 crore rupees ready to inject by RBI into the economy. So, but what is the economy? In which form that is injecting into the economy means one is the investment bonds, and second is the commercial papers, third one is the NDBs, non-convertible debentures, 50,000 crore rupees. And RBI also said that the 50% of this amount of the total amount of the money, which means 25,000 crores out of the 50,000 crores, will be injected to the small size and the small size non-banking financial companies and microfinancial institutions. That is a very important 50%, which means 25,000 crores should be so injected into these companies. That is decided by the RBI. So please don't confuse in the examination. 2.0 is the 50,000 crores, and LTRO 0.1 LTRO is the 1 lakh crores. 2.0 is the 50,000 crores. That is on March 27th, and this is on the April 17th, which means almost total targeted long-term repo operations total amount of the money including the March and April together is the 1,50,000 crore rupees. So don't confuse, please remember this one in carefully and with clarity. Right, this is one of the important reforms announced by the RBI. And what is the next second reform announced by the RBI on the April 17th monetary policy review? Liquidity adjustment facility. What is meant by liquidity adjustment facility? Generally, repo rate and reverse repo rate together called with liquidity adjustment facility. Why liquidity? Liquidity means cash. Cash is adjusting. So what is the repo rate? Repo rate is that is RBI will lend the money to the banks. Banks will pay the interest rate. So that is generally we call repo rate. Reverse repo rate means reverse of the repo. What is repo? Money flowing from the RBI to the banks. Banks will pay the interest rate. That interest rate is known as what? Repo. Here the opposite of the repo, which that's why it is called reverse repo, which means banks will deposit money with the RBI. In turn, RBI has to pay the money interest rate to the banks. So you can observe this flow chart. So you observe the arrow mark. The banks are depositing money with the RBI. In the RBI in turn paying the what interest rate to the banks. That interest rate we are calling as a what? Reverse repo rate. We are calling it as a what? Reverse repo rate. Now, yesterday with that means April 17th. Repo rate is not changed. That remains same at the 4.4% only. Reverse repo rate is the only changed from the 4 to the 3.75%. Bank rate 4.65 unchanged, and marginal standing facility and 4.65 unchanged. These are all are changed on the March 17th. You can watch that video. And to yesterday, that is April 17th, only they are changed the reverse repo rate. Now what happens if the reverse repo rate decreases? Why RBI has taken this decision? Now, so generally when the banks are having the excess amount of the money, generally the banks will not give the loans to the customers, because when the banks are giving the loans to the customers, that money may return, may not return. That is, there is no assurance. So that's why generally whenever the banks are having the excess amount of the money, and they will banks will try to keep that money in the safe custody. The safe custody is the parking of the money with the RBI only. That's why you can observe here the flow chart. Banks get the less interest rate on the deposits. Now if the banks are depositing the money with the RBI, so then the banks will get the less interest rate on the deposit, because earlier it was a 4%, now it was reduced to the 3.75%. That is a minus of the 0.25%. So when the banks get the less interest rate on the deposits, and the banks show the less interest to the deposit with the RBI, banks shows the less interest to deposit with the RBI. Sorry, here I have written it was banks. It was not the banks, it was RBI. Banks show the less interest to deposit with the RBI. Then the if the banks are not depositing with the RBI, then money with the bank only. Then bank what the bank will do with that money? So then bank will try to lend the loans to the customers. Then ultimately when the banks are lending the loans to the customers, the liquidity flow in the market increases, and when the liquidity flow in the market increases, it automatically boosts the GDP growth rates. So that's why we are discouraging the banks to deposit their money with the RBI by reducing the interest rate on the deposits given by the RBI to the banks. So right, that was a very important aspect. That is we are discouraging the banks to deposit money with the RBI by reducing the interest rate. So that is an important question here. So 4 to the 3.75. So right, that was a second reform announced by the RBI. That was a major important reform. And next reform announced by the RBI is the All India Financial Institutions. Whatever the All India Financial Institutions are there, that is a major NABARD, National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, which was established in the 1982, Mumbai. And next is the SIDBI, which was established in the Small Industries Development Bank of India, which was established in the 1990, Lucknow headquarter. And National Housing Bank, that was 1988, New Delhi, right? So headquarter. So that is the so yesterday, that is on the April 17th of the 2020, RBI announced the 50,000 crore rupees of the money to the cumulative money to these three institutions. So that NABARD is getting the 25,000 crore rupees, and SIDBI is getting the 15,000 crore rupees, and National Housing Bank is getting the 10,000 crore rupees of the money. So what would be the impact of this money on the different sectors? Let us analyze. So if you are pumping the 25,000 crore rupees of the money, then it will go to the regional rural banks and cooperative banks, which will boost the growth of the agriculture from the June month onwards, right? Because June month onwards we are ready to sow the seeds. That is the Kharif season of the 2020, and definitely farmers need all the loans, right? Next one, SIDBI, Small Industries Development Bank of India. We are pumping the 15,000 rupees to the micro, small, medium enterprises, because micro, small, medium enterprises plays a very important role in India, which contribute the 40% of the India's exports and 40% of the 45% of the manufacturing sector, and also and 12 crores of the employment it is provided by the micro, small, medium enterprises in India. So that's why we are pumping the 15,000 crore rupees. Then automatically exports will increases, manufacturing of the products will increases, and employment also increases. That's why we are pumping it into the SIDBI 15,000 crore rupees. And National Housing Bank 10,000 crore, which lend the loans to the housing sector, which will boost the real estate sector, because real estate sector is a very important sector which will trigger the economic growth very faster pace. Why? Because in order to construct the house, we require the labor, we require the cement, we require the steel, we require the electricity, electronics instruments. So everything is required for the construction of the houses. That's why whenever you are showing the interest on the housing sector, then automatically it will boost all other sectors also, which means transportation sector, cement sector, steel sector, iron sector. So everything will be automatically activated because of the housing sector. So that's why housing sector has a very huge impact on the economy. So that's why we are pumping the 10,000 crore rupees of the money to the housing sector. Total is a 50,000 crore rupees. And this was another reform announced by the RBI on the April 17th. And next one is the next reform is so that is a reduction of the liquidity coverage ratio. Now we'll discuss what is meant by liquidity coverage ratio. There is one bank is there, the Bank for International Settlement, BIS, Bank for International Settlement. The bank was located in the Basel, Switzerland. So that bank, that is the Bank for International Settlement, is generally considered as a central bank for all the central banks, which means every country will have the central bank. For example, India will have the RBI, China will have the People's Bank of China, America will have the Federal Reserve Bank, and these banks are the central bank of their respective countries. But in order to control all these central banks, again one central bank is there. That central bank name is the BIS, BIS, BIS. So BIS stands for Bank for International Settlement. So this Bank for International Settlement will issue some guidelines to the central banks to implement in their own country in order to protect the banking sector. So that's why, so these reforms are known as what? Basel III reforms, and these are implementing in India from the January 1st of the 2019. So not Basel III norms we are implementing, but this liquidity coverage ratio implementing from the January 1st of the 2019 onwards in India. So what is this liquidity coverage ratio? So that LCR requires banks to maintain the high quality assets to meet the 30 days net outgo under the stressed conditions. LCR, which requires banks to maintain the high quality assets to meet the 30 days net outgo. Please try to understand 30 days net outgo under the stressed conditions. What is mean by it? Which means you need to understand the two things. First one, whenever the bank is facing the problematic, for example, if the bank is given the loan to some X person, so X person is unable to pay the loan, then automatically, so that will become, he became the defaulter, and the whatever the loan given by the bank entirely became the non-performing asset, which means there is no use for the bank. Then automatically bank should sustain the business for the 30 days, even though if that person became the defaulter, which means in the turbulence time, in the turmoil time also, that bank should sustain their business for the period of the 30 days, even though the borrowers are not paying the loan. So that's why, so what is the Basel norm saying? That every bank should maintain the 100% of the LCR, liquidity coverage ratio, high quality assets, which can easily sustain the bank for the next 30 days. Right, so that the high quality of the assets means that easily convertible into the liquid cash whenever the bank is facing the financial crisis. So that is present, it is the LCR ratio is in the 100% in India. So but now every bank is facing the crisis. Now we need to reduce the liquidity coverage ratio, which means if you are reducing the liquidity coverage ratio, then automatically more money available to the bank to lend to the customers rather than keeping with them. So from the April 17 to the 2020 to the September 30, 2020, so in this period the RBI has taken the decision that we are reducing the liquidity coverage ratio to the 80%. Again from the October 1st to the 2020 to the March 31st of the 2020, we are increasing it to the 90%, and from the April 1st of the 2021 we are again we have to bind by the same 100% of the rule. So that is only for the temporary period we are reducing the 20%, that is till the September 30, and till the March 31st of the 2020 we are reducing the 10%, and again from the April 1st of the 2021 again so we have to maintain the 100%. Generally in India, so liquidity coverage ratio is maintained in the form of the SLR only. What is SLR? So every bank should keep the some amount of the money with them in the form of the government bonds or government securities or gold or sovereign gold bonds, or in the form of the cash to meet the urgency needs. So in the same way, every bank should keep the 100% of the money now, but we are given the relaxation. Every bank should keep the 80% is enough now, because 20% should be relaxed. Bank can use the 20% of the money. So remember in this form for the examination, if you are going deeper into the concept, you will confuse with this topic. Right. Next one is next another reform is announced by the ways and means and advances. Right. Already we are discussed in the current affairs. So as for the section 17 and class 5 of the RBI Act 1934, RBI provides the loans to the both central and state. Both central government and state governments have the have the option to borrow the money from the RBI. So that mechanism is known as ways and means and advances. Right, and both central and state government. So in what condition generally that both the central government and the state governments requires the money? For example, the revenue for the any government is only from the taxes, but we are seeing that March and April and May month completely, that is the lockdown, and there is no production of the goods, and sales also dropped by the 35%, and there is no taxes to the government, which means the government is facing the revenue income is very less, but the government has to spend expenditure. So that's why, so whenever the government is facing the temporary liquidity problem, so then government can borrow the money from the RBI. Whenever the banks are facing, government is facing the temporary liquidity problem, so the government can borrow the money from the RBI with the mechanism is known as ways and means and advances. So that is, you can observe in this flow chart, revenue income and revenue expenditure, that is a misbalance is there. In order to maintain this balance, then government have the option to borrow the money from the RBI for the period of the 90 days. So how the government should borrow the money from the RBI wing, government should submit the security papers. That is assurance papers or surety papers should be submitted. So based on the surety paper submitted by the RBI, government to RBI, so then RBI will provide the 60% of the loan based on that papers. So that 60% of the limit equal to 1.20 lakh crores to the central government. And what is the new is that on the April 17th, so then the RBI also increased the state government limits from the 30% to the 60%. Earlier the state government has a limit of the 30%. Now the limit of the state governments also increased from the 30 to the 60%. And this option is available till the September 30, 2020 only, which means state government also have the option to take the borrow the money from the RBI 60% of their whatever the paper submitted by them. So based on that one, so that the financial liquidity is increases in the market, because 30% is 60% means governments can spend the more amount of the money, taking the money from the RBI. Both the central government and state governments have about 60% of the limit, but the 60% of the limit for the central government is already increased in the March only. But in the yesterday, that is April 17th, we are increased even limit of the state government to the 60%. Right? This was a very important question for the examination. And next one is the non-performing assets classification. Generally, what is the standard asset? If any bank is given the loan to the any person, that bank loan will have the two components. One is the principal amount and another one is the interest rate. So every month, if the principal amount and interest rate is returning to the bank, then the asset is called standard asset. But if the principal amount or otherwise interest rate is not returning to the bank, then the asset is called non-performing asset. What is non-performing? Means what is the performance? Performance is the generation of the interest rate to the bank, but it is not generating the any interest rate to the bank, then automatically it is called non-performing, which means the person who has taken the loan is unable to pay the loan, which means that is completely lost to the bank. So that's why that asset is non-performing, which means not generating the any income. That's why we are calling non-performing asset. So generally, as for the RBI rule, so whenever the principal amount or maybe interest rate is overdue for the period of the 90 days, then automatically it is considered as a non-performing asset, which means any person is not paid the EMI or otherwise interest rate or otherwise principal amount for the period of the 90 days. Then automatically from the 91st day onwards, we call it as a non-performing asset, which means in the bank balance sheet they will write this loan as a non-performing asset, which means the person is not paying any amount of the money. But due to the COVID impact, April and May, June 2020, we are given that government has completely imposed the moratorium. Moratorium means no person have there is no need to pay the EMIs or principal amount interest rate for the 3 months, that is April, May and the June months. Then automatically these 3 months means 90 days. 90 days means automatically NPS. But it is not voluntarily done by the person. It is restriction imposed by the RBI itself. That's why RBI is clarified that April, May, June 2020, if the person is unable to pay the EMI, then it is not considered as a non-performing asset, which means it is excluded from the category of the non-performing assets, because the restrictions are imposed by the government itself is to protect the economy, to provide some relief measure to the customers in this COVID crisis time. So it is excluded from the this one. And next one, extension of the resolution time. So general time is a